All right, Assalamualaikum. I'm so sorry for the
Waalaikumsalam.
interruptions here. Okay.
Waalaikumsalam. Where are you going, sir?
Okay. All right. So we'll just proceed, yeah. All right. Otherwise nanti tak cukup masa. Okay, so these are some of the turn taking lah, yang norms turn taking, yeah, in the United States. All right, so I stopped just now. We do not, they do not like to self disclosure. That means they like to take to keep things at professional level. They don't like to reveal their personal things to people, especially in the working setting. So if you refer to this slide, what are the norms of communication in your culture? So let us talk about in our culture. So in our culture, maybe segregation between males and females, perhaps in certain places, certain workplace. All right, and also the use of language. If you are in a setting where you have non-Malays like Chinese and Indians, perhaps the communication will be using English all the time. And also some of the norms, if let's say we're talking about even in a less formal situation, like talking to an older person, you don't really use loud, or you don't project your voice, you try to keep things at low tone, because out of respect, contohnya. So different cultures may hold different ways of communication, yeah. Okay. And then okay, this one, okay, you can just use tengok YouTube video ni if you want. All right, we have different ways of indicating that. Okay, now a turn taking, yeah. All right, a turn taking. Contohnya formal methods, for example, selecting the next speaker by name of raising hand, or agency pairs, intonation, for instance, a drop in pitch or in loudness, gesture, for instance. If let's say you need to continue or engage in the communication and you need to have that turn taking, that means you want to be the one to talk pula. First that person cakap, and then you want to be the one to talk, and then you raise your hands lah. There are many ways that we can actually use, or you just interject. Okay. The rules of turn taking are designed to help conversation take place smoothly. So after, like playing badminton, or like playing ping pong, or playing tennis, when you serve, the other person return back the ball to you, and then you return back the ball to that person, it has to be reciprocal. So reciprocal in a conversation is good and is essential. However, there will be interruptions in a conversation, okay, whereby a new speaker interrupts and gain the floor, and that can also happen when there's a third person pula masuk in that so-called conversation. Butting in is where a new speaker tries to gain the floor but does not succeed. Sometimes that happens in a conversation when the third person trying to gain the floor, that means trying to speak, tapi tak dapat because that person keeps on talking and talking. Ataupun overlaps where two speakers are talking at the same time. Normally in an argument, for example, you nak argue, dia pun nak argue, you nak cakap, dia nak cakap, and one is listening. You know. Okay, responses such as and yeah are known as minimal responses. There are no interruptions, but rather these are not interruptions, yeah, but they are rather devices to show the listener is listening. And that also happens sometimes, when I call a person and the person is actually listening, but there's no responses, and you thought that you have been talking to yourself alone all the way lah. Rupanya bila ditanya baru dia kata, I'm listening. Tapi dia senyap je. So I guess it's best for you to give a bit of responses like, oh, okay, stuff like that. Okay, fatigue communication is popular. So fatigue communication, okay, fatigue communication is also one of the critical incident. Now that I have mentioned, you dah tahu dah. It's one of the critical incident. Popularly known as small talk. Okay, small talk, fatigue communication is the same. Non-referential use of language to share feelings and establish a mood of sociability rather than to communicate information or ideas. All right. So that is what is known as fatigue communication lah. All right. Also known as fatigue speech, fatigue convenient, fatigue language, social tokens, and chit chat. All right. Okay. This one you can watch on your own lah. Eh? So principles of effective communication, general communication skills, and then learn about the culture differences, try to adapt, using modulated voice is if people are talking something serious, your voice also should be serious. If people are trying to make jokes, trying to create a harmonious punya situation ataupun environment ke, you join in, you don't try to change. Adapting to terminology, accuracy, engaging audience, changing intonation, and then use of technology, and then question and answer when it comes to presentation, for example. Yeah, so Q&A pun is a very good way of communication. Okay, what are the barriers to communication? So these are some of the barriers to communication lah. We have technical breakdown, receiver unable to understand, attitude towards sender, wrong channel, no feedback. Tu yang saya cerita tadi, blue tick tu, poor timing when when people are angry, when people are sad. That is the time you not talk about career advancement lah dan sebagainya. Okay. Use of jargon, unclear message, wrong target, wrong format. I think semua ni self-explanatory lah. Alright. Okay. So what are your barriers in communication? So what are your barriers? You ask yourself this question. What are your barriers? Some people say that maybe because I am an introvert. Introvert means I speak less. I don't communicate more. I don't engage myself. Contohlah, pun can be a barrier. Or language can also be a barrier. All right, language can also be a barrier to your communication. If you speak Malay, that person does not understand you in Malay. How can you communicate? All right. What are ada banyak lah you can think of lah. All right. So barriers to communication pun is one of the critical incident. Okay, salah satu juga daripada critical incident in a communication in a workplace. Alright, so we are done with this. Okay, next is for us to talk about forms. Okay, this one forms, yeah. Forms of communication. Okay, so words of wisdom. Okay, this video ni kita tak tengok, and I've already shared with you the videos juga kan. So you can watch this video ya. Dekat mana? The one dekat folder yang saya share tu lah. If you have watched this offensive translator, very nice, very very apa ni? Very funny, a funny video, but it talks about how offensive a person can be. And sometimes that can also happen in a workplace communication. So in a workplace communication, a person can be very offensive towards another, provided that you have personal matters towards that person ke, you are being racist ke, you are being sexist ke, okay, you have prejudice towards that person ke, okay, or maybe some prior history with that person, you've known that person before somewhere and it was not really good, so that is why that this thing can happen. So sebenarnya nak establish professionalism in a workplace is very very hard. Okay, kalau you have this kind of things with you. So sometimes you just have to, that's why people say that just be professional. When you go to work, sometimes you just have to be professional. You have to act like a professional. You must know your boundaries, unless you dah kerja lama dan you dah establish a rapport with the working people ataupun your colleagues ke, then it's okay. Sebab tu saya, to be very frank with all of you, mana saya pergi pun, saya akan address a person puan ke, cik ke atau encik. I rarely call my colleague by their names, or kakak, or abang, saya tak ya. That is how I establish professionalism with my colleagues and with my subordinates. Siapa-siapa yang bekerja di bawah saya buat macam gitu. Because when you establish professionalism, you nak tegur orang ke, you nak criticize ke, people will respect you and they will listen to you. But if you panggil orang tu kakak, you panggil orang tu abang, when you nak tegur, and it will become personal to that person. Sebab dia dah establish a very special relationship with you. Itu susah sedikit. Sebab itu saya jarang-jarang lah nak panggil kakak dan abang unless saya dah kenal orang tu begitu lama. Okay, dah kenal perangai dia macam mana, dia pun dah faham cara kita, then probably lah there will be a change of kita panggil salutation. Daripada Miss and Puan ke Cik ke terus panggil kakak contohnya lah. Okay, tapi most of the time memang that is how I establish my professionalism in a working setting. Maybe you may want to do the same thing as well. Begin with something small like that, yeah, to be professional. And then try not to talk about your personal life. When you don't include your personal life in a conversation with your colleagues for no reason, and then your friends pun will respect the same thing towards you. It's not that you cannot share, but sometimes there are things you keep to yourself sahaja. Because that can also be, boleh jadi sesuatu yang people can use that against you. So nak establish professionalism. Suatu saya pun dalam in a process of writing a very short article. InsyaAllah nak publish lah dekat paper ke, kat mana-mana ke. About professionalism in a workplace. I want to talk, I tengah menulis pun sekarang ni, tengah collect info dan sebagainya. I want to talk about what, because sometimes people, we don't practice this. Okay, saya pernah bekerja juga dengan people from overseas, from abroad, and I can see how professional they can be. And I envy these people, yeah, especially from developed countries like America, UK, for example, even from Europe, and even Southeast Asia. My friends from Singapore, contohnya, I like their professionalism. Saya sangat suka. Okay, tapi kita tak establish that in a working setting. That is why this is something yang that you may also want to think about, yeah. Okay, so what is communication to you? So as you watch just now pasal yang offensive translator tu, you notice that the communication breaks down. That means there's no communication because people don't just understand her. All right. So what is basically communication to you? I think we've talked about this before. What are forms of communication? There are 4 types. Kita ada visual communication, written communication, verbal communication, and non-verbal communication. Okay. So this is the evolution of communication. Okay, visual communication means that there must be a form of visual. Like what I'm doing right now with you, this is visual communication because you get to see me, you get to listen to me. This is visual communication. Okay, and then I show you the slides, visual communication. And people will engage more in a visual communication. Tapi a lot of people will restrain themselves. Although some studies suggest that it's good, tapi they will restrain themselves. Ask yourself, do you prefer to call or FaceTime ke? Or video call? Dengan sesiapa lah, your husband ke, your spouse ke. Most of us will call. We don't want to engage ourselves in a video call. Tapi this is not happening in overseas, in abroad. In UK, in US, for example, those people living in UK and in US, they prefer to video call. They prefer to FaceTime. They kata since ada internet, why not we just video call? That would be best. So different places, they have different norms lah. So visual communication, I think this one is self-explanatory. You can read on your own. Next is written communication. Most of us are doing this. WhatsApp, Telegram, SMS, hantar email, tulis surat. So written communication. So this is the earliest form of written communication. As you can see, some pictures are depicted on the walls of cave. So this is also what we call written communication lah, dalam bentuk gambar, dalam bentuk penulisan dan sebagainya. This is also another form of written communication. So what is written communication? You can read on your own, self-explanatory. Okay, and as you can see that dulu tulis surat. I think you can ask yourself, when was the last time you wrote a letter to someone? When was the last time you wrote a letter to someone? I just want to share with you, I happen to know this couple, a friend of mine. Dia macam dah pangkat very senior to me lah, very senior. I think she has another 2 or 3 years before she retires. Right? Tapi very senior. But she asked me to call her kakak, although I can see that she is about the same age of my mother lah. Tapi I still call her kakak lah because we are very close. And then she's very senior to me, very nice lah. She did tell me a story about her husband dengan dia. When they have a fight, they will not communicate with each other. That's normal lah. Bila you bergaduh dengan your spouse, normally we don't communicate, we don't talk. Tapi we still need to communicate on a daily basis. Perlu. Sebab apa? Life has to go on kan. Sampai bila you tak bercakap, tapi masih lagi bergaduh dalam mood marah contohnya. So she said that what normally she did dengan dia husband ialah they will write a letter. So the husband will write a letter and then put the letter dekat atas dia punya meja makeup dia tu. And then when she gets up and then she will just read the letter and she will reply, letak balik atas tu. Macam itulah. Orang-orang tua kalau gaduh macam tu lah, very sweet. Right? So, and she is doing it up until today with her husband. So that is the earliest written communication lah. Kita write a letter or hantar postcard or write an email, send an SMS, WhatsApp, WeChat, whatever, you name it. Sekarang dah macam-macam dah. Dulu we never thought that there's a voice message. Okay, ingat kan? written message. Sekarang ni kita masuk pula ini, verbal communication. Tu yang voice message tu. Okay, what is verbal communication? You can read on your own. And then kita ada face-to-face, telephone, voice chat, video chat. Kita ada voice message where you can record and then send it, Banyak dah sekarang, ya. Podcast. And then kita ada non-verbal communication. Tengok Mr. Bean ni. The one thing good about this movie ataupun this series, Mr. Bean ni, you rarely hear him talking. Very rare. But we understand what he's doing because of his good non-verbal communication. Okay, body gestures dia, facial expression dia, body movement dia, Alright. So then name of few non-verbal communication lah kalau you ada. Right? In class activity we'll skip. Alright, done. Done with this. Moving on. Ada soalan ke? If you have question, just ask, ya. Okay. Alright. Okay. No question so far. The last one, the last slide. Okay. And then we are done. So if you have not checked your attendance on UFuture, please do so, ya. Okay. Just a gentle reminder. Your attendance at UFuture. Sebab dia sampai pukul 11.30 je, ya. Sampai 10:30 only. 8:30 until 10:30. Okay. So let us move on with this. Language forms and functions. Okay. In a informal workplace interaction, then formal workplace interaction. We'll be looking at both lah. So informal workplace interaction, kita ada small talk. This is also one of, as I mentioned to you just now tadi, fatigue communication or small talk, yeah. So initiating a conversation, one of the critical incidents, yeah. So you can watch this movie lah ataupun this short video. Alright. So this is some of the questions that you can ask yourself and try to answer based on the short video. Alright. I'm not going to explain in details about small talk. I'm pretty sure everyone has understood about it. Next is giving compliments. That is also another critical incident. Sometimes some people don't get it. When you are superior, I give you an example lah. Saya ada orang bawah saya ada krani bawah saya ada seorang EO, executive officer bawah saya. Dekat department saya, in my department, I have a coordinator bawah saya juga. So, kerani kanan saya tu kadang-kadang dia buat kerja yang bukan kerja dia lah. Sometimes I ask him to design something because he has passion. Okay, he has passion in designing, and we don't have a designer in our department, so I ask him to do that design. And when he did that design, and sometimes I ask him to change a bit here and there, and then baru dapat yang the finalized design. I don't say thanks to him. Instead, I told him good job or job well done. I praise him. I give compliments. Now, why did I do that? Because this is not his JD, bukan job description dia. Okay, but he is doing it because he has passion in designing and he has free time and the boss is asking to do it. So instead of saying thank you, I told him good job or job well done. And I said in our WhatsApp group so that everyone is aware of it. Okay, so giving compliments is also one of the critical incident. Okay, it's good, and not necessarily you have to be the superior to give compliment. Among friends and colleagues at the same level pun boleh kasih compliments. Alright, we just be happy for people. You tengok orang lain bagus, you tengok orang lain dapat something ke, did a good job ke, no harm of saying good job, job well done. Be happy. Don't be envious. Jangan jealous. Jangan buat macam itu. Just be happy. Right? When you are happy, you have a clean heart. Ni kalau you jealous lah apa, you develop PhD, perasaan hasad dengki. Okay? You can just watch this short video. Look at this teacher. Every morning, he would give compliments to his students in order to boost his or her self-esteem. Cikgu ni buat lah, which is a good practice actually. Kalau you're a boss, why not you compliment but then again, you have to be very careful because a compliment may bring you to workplace harassment. You must be careful about this. Sometimes some people will just use compliments to camouflage workplace harassment. Contoh banyak. Saya kalau nak kasih contoh, a lot of things we can discuss, ya. Kadang-kadang ditegur cantiknya you ni, nampak macam compliment. Tapi the one who is giving that compliment is a guy and telling this to a girl or a lady, for example. Cantik lah you ni contohnya kan. Ayu lah you ni, macam tu. I don't think that is appropriate sebenarnya. Tapi kalau let's say some people pakai baju warna yang very vibrant and nice, and then another person pun pakai lebih kurang sama, and you feel like giving compliment, but this is tak ada harassment ke tak ada apa. So the way you want to give compliment pun has to be, the way you word your compliment pun has to be good. Maybe you can say that you look very nice today with your vibrant color. That suits you. That suits you. Keep on, macam tu ke. Keep on the good job. Okay, apa ni, just stop kat situ pun tak apa. You look so nice with this attire today, you look so nice. Sometimes my boss pun suka cakap macam tu kat saya. Hitam kenalah dengan you, dia cakap dengan saya. Saya pun jawab balik. Hitam siapa je tak kena dengan siapa-siapa, bos. Saya cakap. Semua orang okey dengan hitam. Sajalah kan, we try. Because that is also a small talk, and in a small talk, he is giving compliments. Yeah. Next is this one you can just name. Okay, giving opinions, agree and disagree, that can also happen. Okay, then this is also one of the critical incidents. All right, self-explanatory sebenarnya. You pun tahu apa giving opinions, agree to disagree. Okay, okay, ada situational apologizing, questioning, congratulating, make suggestions, making requests, and also accepting or declining an invitation. Kalau in a class, I will pinpoint lah one by one. Give me a sample of this or an example of this. Accepting and declining an invitation macam mana dan sebagainya. Kalau formal workplace interaction pula, kita ada making phone calls. So how do you make a phone call? Okay, bolehlah tengok orang ni macam mana, tengok dia buat phone call ya, video. So some of the things that you can, questions that you can ask yourself, how do we begin when you make a phone call? Okay, normally we greet that person dahulu ke. What is the conversation? Sorry, what if the conversation isn't clear? How do we rectify the situation? And how do we end it? Contohnya, ada setengah orang dia kata cakap, oh dia tak ada macam goodbye ke, I'll see you tomorrow ke, tak ada. Ada, right? And then complaining, how do you complain? Okay, so some of the questions that you may want to ask yourself, how to complain politely, how to handle negative or emotional complaint, what happens after one has complained. Okay. Negotiating pun is part of the critical incidents. Alright. These are critical incidents. The one I'm mentioning today ni, critical incidents semua ni. You boleh cari dalam movie you tu nanti. Some of the question Okay, what are other ni? Contohnya making an appointment macam mana? How to do a presentation. These are formal situations. How to give opinions juga in a formal, how to make decisions, how to justify things, how to clarify things, So some of the things that you may want to look into lah. Alright. This is some of the follow-up activity. Nak buat pun boleh kalau you nak buat. Soalan pun ada dekat situ. This is just an analysis. Alright. I'm done. Any questions so far? Sir, this class has recorded. If recorded, may you send this link to our reference? Okay. Yes. As I mentioned to you just now, I have recorded the first session. Tadi kita ada a bit of intermission. Tadi kita terhenti kejap. And the second one pun is being recorded. Not to worry. So nanti I will upload it on YouTube and then I will share you the link. So you tak perlu pun sebenarnya nak download the video. You just watch dekat YouTube tu nanti. I share the link ya. But not today, not today. My house internet connection is not really that good. So I have to go to the office and use my intranet and to upload it on YouTube. Probably by tomorrow lah, insyaAllah. Yeah, okay. So kalau no questions so far, okay, Alhamdulillah, what you can do right now is to think and to strategize your assessments. It's good just now, I got to, saya tengok balik kat dalam group, you have already made some arrangement in terms of the list and your partner for assessments. Okay, good job. Please continue doing that for other assessment as well. Kena strategize, tengok balik tari-tari seminar, dah boleh start to think of video, the movie that you want for video critic, Kalau assessment 1, 2 and 3 tu nanti when I share you similar questions or similar situations, you can begin doing practices with your partner or with your group members. And also when I share with you the sample video of presentation, you can start to strategize for your fourth assessment, that is your video critic. Okay, so all in all, kita ada 4 main assessment sajalah, 4 sahaja. And then we need to complete the whole thing by the end of the semester, yeah. I'm so sorry we don't really have time for us to have ice breaking session. If it is in a class, normally I will have everyone to introduce him or herself so that it'll be better for us to get to know each other. But of course, doing it online, I have syllabus to be covered, I have things to do, and we don't really have uh, time lah for you to introduce. But I hope that as we go along, I can get to know you guys better. Yeah. All right. So if there's anything that you wish to ask, you can please ask. Don't ask me personally. Ask in the group. Jangan malu. Just ask in the WhatsApp group so that when you ask the questions, everyone else will benefit from it. Okay. Sebab mungkin dia pun ada soalan nak tanya, tapi you dah tanya, tak payahlah dia nak tanya. So ask in the WhatsApp group. All right. Okay. So thank you so much for joining today's session for our first seminar. All right. I appreciate your attendance as well. Quite a full house today, if I'm not mistaken. But of course, maybe your internet connection is not stable. Some of you join, but keluar masuk, keluar masuk. Don't worry, my house internet connection pun not stable. We just make do what we have and try to get the best out of it. Okay. Thank you so much. Don't forget your attendance on your future. And inshallah, I'll be seeing you guys on the 23rd of May. Yeah. I know this is still in the morning, baru 10:25. Since we will not be meeting until the end of the day, I wish you selamat berbuka puasa lah, selamat beriftar. And since we are meeting on the 23rd of May, which is after Hari Raya, so selamat Hari Raya Aidilfitri, maaf zahir batin in advance, ya. So I'll see you guys around insyaAllah. Kita continue our discussion in our WhatsApp group or perhaps on iDiscuss dan sebagainya lah. Alright, so I'll see you guys around insyaAllah. Assalamualaikum.
You, sir. Bye.